All right, I want to talk about a serious subject today, which is political violence. So, over the weekend, if you've missed it, Josh Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania, was the victim of an arson attempt at the governor's mansion in Harrisburg. Here's what happened, if you don't know the details. On late Saturday night, early Sunday morning, a 38-year-old man jumped the fence at the governor's mansion in Pennsylvania, used a small sledgehammer to break open windows, threw Molotov cocktails in, and began a major fire before escaping, although he was eventually caught. Shapiro, at the time, was in the home sleeping with his wife. His 4 kids were there, as well as some friends or family that they had over to celebrate Passover on Saturday. The guy who has been arrested for this has told police that he planned, if he had found Shapiro, and he didn't, but if he had found Shapiro, he would have used the hammer he used to break in to the house to attack the governor of Pennsylvania. So this is, obviously, if you're following this stuff, this is the latest in a series of instances of political violence over the last 5 to 10 years. This is not a complete list, but 2 assassination attempts against Donald Trump, a kidnapping plot against Gretchen Whitmer, the governor of Michigan, a shooting at a congressional baseball game practice against Steve Scalise, the attack on the U.S. Capitol, the hammer attack on Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul, at their home in San Francisco. Studies show that political violence is actually not on the rise, but to me, it seems as though what we have is a series of increasingly high-profile incidents, obviously the attempted assassination of a president being the most high-profile of those, that point to the fact that our politics is, right on the verge of out of control, and I really worry that at some point here, one of these people is going to be successful in their attack on a member of Congress and really, really, really injure them or maybe even kill them. Obviously, I have in mind the shooting of Gabrielle Giffords when she was a member of the House. She lived, but suffered a major brain injury after being shot at an event. These acts of political violence, I think, are unfortunately increasingly. We're seeing them more. Now, there may not be more overall, but we're seeing them more against high-profile figures like Trump, like Shapiro, like Nancy Pelosi and her husband. The attacker in the Pelosi case wanted to get Nancy Pelosi, but she wasn't home. And I think that we need people, responsible elected leaders, to address this. And this brings me to the good part of this story, if there is a good part, which is what Josh Shapiro said after the attack. And I want to quote it. "We don't know the person's specific motive yet, but we do know a few truths. First, this type of violence is not okay. This kind of violence is becoming far too common in our society. And I don't give a damn if it's coming from one particular side or the other, directed at one particular party or another, or one particular person or another. It is not okay, and it has to stop. We have to be better than this." Yes to all of that. Please don't point fingers in the comments section. Yes, here are things we know. Shapiro is a Democrat. Shapiro is Jewish. Passover started on Saturday. But we don't yet know the motive. But even if we do, the truth of the matter is we have seen political violence break out on both sides. I'm not trying to both sides this, but I am trying to point out that we have seen people who have become radicalized on both sides acting out on this. And I really do fear for our politicians going forward, because people do not understand that these are by and large civil servants, public elected officials trying to do their best. People are radicalized by the internet. They are encouraged by things they see on TV or read, and it is going to get to a point where someone loses a life here. And I think that and it might be on the right, it might be on the left, but I feel like every time one of these happen, I feel like we have literally and figuratively dodged a bullet, that our elected officials are becoming bigger and bigger targets. And honestly, I think it dissuades people from running for office, because fear. The fear of something like this happening. But go and read Josh Shapiro's response again. I want to this last part I want to read again. I don't give a damn if it's coming from one particular side or the other, directed at one particular party or another, or one particular person or another. It is not okay, and it has to stop. We have to be better than this. Yes, we do. Amen to that, Josh Shapiro. Glad his family is okay. But folks, this is not going to be the last time unless we change the way we talk about each other and to each other and about our elected officials. All right, everyone. Take care.